Hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is having a great night. Whether the country is going crazy or not, everybody needs to be having a good day out there at least. How you doing, Nana? How you doing, Jackie, Susie, Joe, Linda, Tia, Andrea, Mark? How you guys doing? Glenda, Brenda, Betty? Hope you guys are all doing all good out there. Crazy, crazy days ahead. Crazy days behind us. Hi, Sabrina. Looking at gas prices over $5 a gallon as a national average now. Now, when I said this last week or last year, everybody said that would never happen. It's happening now. Next will be $7.50 and then $12 a gallon. And I expect it to keep going. Of course, as Ukraine is not going to be exporting coal, oil, or natural gas anytime in the future, neither is Russia. Looking at more countries, of course, increasing their gas prices, Venezuela and Saudi Arabia both alike, raising their or their oil prices. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Of course, the House passes their sweeping gun bill to raise assault rifle purchase ages, which what qualifies as an assault rifle versus a regular rifle, I don't know. That's up to, I guess, the government's opinion of what they think is what, because obviously they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to these things. So, assault rifle purchases to age 21. I doubt it'll get past the Senate in any way, shape, or form. It's just crazy. It is going to be worse as it comes forward. Yeah. Lots of stuff happening. Of course, Democrats are getting a wake-up call as crime takes hold in a lot of cities and states around the country. Crime is taking hold because, of course, people are running out of money. People are running out of money. People no longer have money to afford food or to afford fuel. You can't afford gas. How do you get to work? If you can't afford gas while working, what is the point? An assault weapon is not a weapon of war, by the way. An assault weapon is a weapon used to assault somebody. So basically, anything could be an assault weapon. From this water bottle to the hair on your head is an assault weapon. So banning assault weapons or assault rifles to hit 21 is just ridiculous. Yeah. USDA is definitely eggs will be up to $12 a dozen coming soon. And that's not a question because we just lost the biggest egg facility in the country. Literally, the biggest egg facility or egg hatchery, eggplant, whatever you want to call it, egg farm in the country. $12 a gallon or $12 a dozen is not going to be a far-fetched number. I mean, legitimately, losing 30% of the country's egg production overnight was a big hit, that fire. 30%. Of course, Omicron has two new variants coming out now, BA4 and BA5. And it's starting from scratch again, basically, because scientists don't think won't have any entanglements with the vaccine we currently know. Here's what we know so far about the variants: is the coronavirus is a single-started strain. Of course, we know that, but now the new strain is an H53U1 strain. This is going to become a problem. The mutations that are evolving now in the new strains, replacing older variants, are now all subvariants of Omicron so far. But seeing the newest samples of the BA4 and BA5, the U.S. were collected in March 30th and the 29th, respectively. We know that we're seeing a very much higher transmissibility rate. The new variant is successful at, of course, infecting people with the vaccine and without it, without a question. The transmissibility enough is not the only problem. there's also the quality or the quantity of the virus load, the viral load to stay around to infect, and the replicating more quickly and binding more tightly to the lungs and the ACE2 receptors, which could be a very hazardous condition when we enter winter this year. A lot of people don't know what's going on with the Omicron variant. I wanted to give a clear update because nobody's talking about COVID, and people should be talking about what happened with the new variant. I mean, we're lucky we're in the summer. We're still, diesel outages are still happening. We're expecting rolling blackouts for much of California and Texas during this heat wave. It's one thing after another. But the two new subvariants that have gained a bigger foothold in the U.S., and I think the people should know about it. I don't care if nobody else is talking about it right now, but these are big issues. Of course, Russia is giving a more stern warning as those missiles, of course, make their way to Ukraine. U.S., of course, still sending medium to long-range missiles to Ukraine, along with the U.K., and they will be there later this week, or early next week. And they'll be ready for full deployment within 2 more weeks after that for training, after training. It is getting scary. And what's the sanctions that were placed on China actually going to hold? Crazy. It is crazy. But up and coming, we have a lot of stuff coming towards us at once. We have a shortage of flour, a shortage of sugars, which are obviously being faced, shortage of fuels. People are living less than paycheck to paycheck at this time. Yeah, Billy, you can call in if you want to. Definitely a lot to talk about right now. A lot to talk about. It shouldn't be chopping up anybody's audio. We have a nice clear stream here. Things are definitely ramping up quickly with Putin's war. Hi, how you doing tonight, Billy?
Chris, what's going on, buddy?
One thing after another, it's just dominoes falling in a row.
I wanted to tell you and the audience about this person who somebody forwarded me some information about today, and I looked it up to Google it, and it's actually true. I want everybody to Google this name. I just posted Dontray Mills, Dontray Mills. He purchased 27 illegal firearms using fake ID. All right, he was charged with federal gun, and then he went on to sell these guns. Okay, he was charged by Obama's DOJ with federal gun trafficking laws. The guy was looking at, possibly life in prison. What did Obama's DOJ do? They plea bargained him to agree to only plead guilty to 1 count only, and the sentence he got was probation. Okay? So I want everybody to look this article up and read about this guy who was buying...
Yeah, the 55 counts.
Yeah. All right? So the Democrats cannot say, on one hand, that, guns are a problem when they're allowing guys like this, Chris, not to go to jail.
Well, they're blaming the NRA.
Nobody knows about this. I want as many people to learn about this as possible. I wish I could call Tucker. I wanted Tucker to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because
the problem is kind of stuff
that's being thrown up in the Democrats' face.
Yeah. Well, NRA is being blamed for all this, and then the gun manufacturers. But this shit is happening everywhere. If you look at the crime rates in Democratic states are much higher and increasing much faster than the rest of the country, and it's happening quickly. Now, these mass shootings that we're seeing have always been on this scale. We just never talked about it. We've always had an average of one shooting or mass shooting a day in the United States for the longest time.
But Chris, this guy belongs to be in prison for life.
Yeah,
You
he
can't
does.
you can't go and make gun laws to restrict the law-abiding citizens' rights to own and purchase firearms, and then you let a guy like this walk. It's mind-boggling. And I want to see somebody ask Obama. I want to see somebody ask Biden these questions about this guy. I want somebody to bring this up and ask these questions. Why was this guy, who you claim guns are a problem, who is a guy who's buying guns with fake licenses and then selling them to felons? Why was this guy not in prison for 20, 30 years, but given a year probation? It makes no sense. But yet you're gonna pass laws and infringe on my rights and millions of other people.
A lot of these illegal gun sales are facilitated by our government. I'm going to say it right now. CIA is involved in a lot of illegal gun trade because in order to get guns into certain countries other than ours, they sell them illegally to these transporters to transport them to another country, and then they rebuy them illegally. And a lot of guns get lost along the way, like the huge weapon disposal program that we would end up shipping weapons to Mexico to use them against the cartel in Colombia, and all those weapons got lost, and they got back in the U.S. They're still coming into the U.S. today. Those numbers are still being found today.
Patrol agent killed by one of those rifles that Holder was doing that Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Holder was found in contempt of Congress, but nothing ever happened to him. He was never, there was never a grand jury indictment against him, though. Hey, well, I want to ask you one more thing. I want to know if you know anything about this. I read on Facebook somebody said that the Buffalo shooter and the Texas shooter actually knew each other. Is that true?
That is speculation at this point. I can say there is some talk about that.
And also, one of the rifles that the Texas shooter used was actually one of the same type of rifles, make and model, that was used in the Vegas shooting. Chris, if that's true, that's more than a coincidence.
There's a lot more than coincidence tying a lot of these mass shootings together. And I want to say something else about these mass shootings. Now, criminal or gang-on-gang violence is now included in mass shooting statistics for the first year it's ever been used as mass shootings. Like you've seen the one that happened in Fort Smith, Arkansas, not Fort Smith, Little Rock, South Little Rock.
Yeah. And the one in Philly, too. Was that like a gang thing the other night?
Philly was a gang-on-gang fight.
Yeah.
There was a fight, and then they ended up pulling guns. Multiple guns were fired, and multiple people were hit. These are gang-on-gang violence, which we've had more gang-on-gang violence problems in the past than ever before. And now we're seeing gang-on-gang violence counted as regular.
So they can up the number, so they can say how bad of a situation the mass shootings are. That's the only reason why they want to use that number. So. But anyway, that's why I wanted to call up. I wanted to say that about this guy. I found this article today. I think I forwarded it to you. I'm not sure on Messenger.
Yeah, I think you did.
I want everybody to look him up. Dontre Mills. This guy's walking around in society today, and you have trespassers from January 6th still locked up.
And you know what's sad? I'm going to say this again because a lot of people don't know this. You can get a murder charge and get charged 25 to life and still get off parole in 10 years. If you get a drug charge that gives you 25 years, your mandatory minimum is the 25 years. That's how messed up our prison system and our judicial system is right now. I'm going to say it right because it is ridiculous. If somebody goes and kills somebody, you should not be able to get off on parole. On the same person gets caught using drugs or holding drugs, and they get served a sentence that's ridiculous, and they're forced to serve it because drugs were involved.
Hey, Chris, why don't we have a comment from Biden yet about this guy that was arrested for threatening to kill Kavanaugh? How come Biden hasn't come out to condone that?
He should have immediately jumped up.
How come nobody's come to Schumer today? Any reporters and asked Schumer, hey, that little speech you gave outside of that protest 2 years ago when you threatened Kavanaugh, the whirlwind and this and that, you don't know what's going to come for you? Well, what do you have to say about that today, Mr. Schumer, where this guy actually was hunting down Kavanaugh and he had a gun on him and he was looking to kill him? I mean, I'm so sick of the media in this country. I'm so sick of it. 95% of the media is corrupt. It really is. That's why I don't even watch them anymore. There's only two people I watch, Tucker and Greg Kelly.
That's what I was going to say. You can't even watch Fox besides Tucker because you're going to go a whole freaking spin cycle. I watched The Five the other day just to see what they were talking about.
The Five is
it freaking... Yeah, I got so mad. I got so mad.
Hey, one more thing before I go. I saw that this coach in football, I don't know his name, a white guy, apparently he said something about January 6th. He made a comment, and he was at a press conference, and the media asked, "Whoa, what you said about that?" He goes, "Listen, I'm American. I have a right to my opinion." He goes, where's the balance in reporting, the balance in justice, where you had these riots going on for weeks, and you literally had blocks of buildings burnt down. And then you had this riot. This riot in D.C. was a dusting compared to the Black Lives Matter riots.
Yeah.
So apparently, they made him apologize, Chris. He had to come back and he goes. He didn't apologize for his feelings about what he said. He apologized for characterizing January 6th as a dusting compared to the riots. I mean, I don't understand these people. If you're going to say something, God damn it, stand by it, man. Otherwise, don't say anything at all.
It's just sad.
Hello? Oh, okay. Anyway, that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you, man, for calling in. I know there's so much garbage going on.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Bye-bye.
Stay strong, man. Bye. Yeah, but that's exactly true. I mean, everything that's happening, it's happening around... And nobody wants to say anything once a Democrat, a Black Lives Matter protester. But we're seeing San Francisco becoming a failed city. Democratic ruled. Completely failed. I mean, the World Bank right now is warning of global stagflation, which means products will not be available. And the products that will be available will be too expensive to actually purchase. Causing the feds to have to slash the interest rates, causing for more inflation by 2024. I mean, we have fertilizer shortages. I don't know if you guys heard. Now they're trying to make a new chemical fertilizer made strictly with chemicals. Nobody's going to know the effects on that for the next 10 years. Just imagine, though, you'll be eating it. Just one thing after another. Every time you turn around, more of this is coming down to affecting how we're going to live our lives and when we're going to get out of this. But watching as shelves and the bread aisles go slowly more and more empty around the country. People, of course, realizing this. It's just sad. Of course, then we have oil and surging oil prices. Cut over here for you guys real quick.
Goldman's analysts, including chief commodity strategist Jeff Currie, said in a note Monday that they expected prices to go higher given the current record low levels of inventories. They predicted Brent will average roughly $140 a barrel in the third quarter of the year, but said it could go higher. A large spike in prices remains quite possible this summer, when demand seasonally reaches its peak, the analysts wrote. However, Currie and colleagues said consumers would feel as though oil had jumped by even more. They said bottlenecks at refineries which turn crude oil into usable oil products mean gas and fuel costs are considerably higher than would normally be expected compared to benchmark prices. The analyst said there was an unprecedented refining shortage. Goldman's team said a rise in Brent crude to $140 a barrel would therefore mean prices across developed economies reaching levels normally associated with $160 a barrel this summer. The investment bank said it expects prices
to stay high, even though a surge to around $140 would trigger some demand destruction by encouraging people to stop using as much energy. Goldman said Brent oil prices would average $115 a barrel in the fourth quarter of 2023, with WTI averaging $110.
Yeah, so fuel prices going up. I had to try this out. I'm working on some AI. Hey, my deep fakes are getting better. Okay, just wait till I'm sitting here talking to you guys as a deep fake. But definitely AI. Yeah, oil prices literally looking at should be glitching. She's glitching because I put her on lowest quality, but oil prices looking at literally 160 a barrel coming up. We're 120 now, looking at 160 a barrel. I mean, can you imagine that? We were literally in the $30 a barrel range 2 years ago or 3 years ago. $30 a barrel. Oil was down to at one point. Going to 160. That is ridiculous. And it's not because oil is something that costs more to produce or it's harder to find. We have plenty of it. It's because policies that are made to drive prices higher. Prices amongst you and me as consumers. Doesn't affect people like Biden or our Congress or our House, Senate. They're not affected by the oil prices. They hardly even know what they are. All they know is people complain and they say, well, we don't have a magic dial to turn the oil prices up and down. But their policies directly reflect what they do. And that's what we are facing. Policies written by this government are changing the way we look at our world, looking at how we spend our money. The average family can't even go out for a nice dinner, much less for a picnic. Between paying for gas and the food you'll need, it's cheaper to eat at home still. It's a sad point in this world when we're looking at things you cannot even imagine or fathom happening. Are happening here in the United States more than other countries even. We got homelessness rates in a lot of democratic cities skyrocketing. Shortages of food and shortages of fuel are just the beginning. Now California plans to put a huge desalination plant to dump the water into Lake Mead, costing millions of dollars or billions of dollars, and the electricity it's going to require, that's coming from fossil fuels. Rolling blackouts are already expected across that area. What happens when the plant goes online? It's just people not using common sense at this point. You can't get something from nothing, and that's what they're expecting. No, 99 cents is it does, but not the way you think it does. It's more than 99 cents, but the fuel, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. The government gets a high taxation rate on fuel, but they don't tax. It's not taxation like you would think. They tax the plant on processing fee. So you can't just eliminate the tax because then the plant can still charge the same amount for selling the gas. It's just a whole rigmarole. Gas gets taxed like 10 times when it comes out of the ground, when it gets transported, when it gets processed, when it gets sold from the processor to the distribution, and then when it gets from distribution to the fuel station, and then when it goes from the fuel station to the customer. All along that line are taxed. So, seeing a second depression is definitely in the works. It is crazy. It's over $5 in the national average. California, I imagine it's over $6 already. we're going to see this get worse day by day. It's sad. Rice shortages will be the next thing. And that's something that will affect human hunger across the globe. Anyways, I don't know what I was saying because I just heard myself echo. But there is some good news I wanted to share with you guys. There is a cancer drug that was in testing for colon cancer. 12 patients were originally in the test group. Out of the 12 patients that were in the test group for this new medication, all 12 are clear of cancer. It's a revolutionary science. It's a huge jump from what we've been doing for cancer treatments for a long time. This could be globally changing the fight of cancer, which should make people so much better off in the long run. Knowing that colon cancer is one of the most aggressive types of cancer, and what it can be used on going forward could be astounding. And that's truly good news. As much as bad news we hear, this cure for cancer could be the ultimate blessing. And we'll need it if we end up going to nuclear war, because of course, cancer and nuclear fallout go hand in hand, unfortunately. Even if they pick and choose, eventually it'll be on the open market. Even if they pick and choose. God bless you guys. I want to thank you guys for being here. Make sure you guys share the stream out when you join, and make sure you're following. Of course, on the 15th, we will be doing the drawing for $100. Yes, there could be an EMP without nuclear fallout. It's called high altitude nuclear explosions. God bless you guys. God bless America. We are grateful to live in this nation, whether it needs a big change or not. We're grateful for everything we have. See you on Friday night. Stay strong. Stand tall. Good night.